Hi, I'm Mark, and this is The Emotional Alchemist. I am a recovering scapegoat. It's not a role I chose, but it's one that actually, to tell the truth of it, I have to admit in order to be able to get over it. In my family, I was a scapegoat, which means that I was blamed for things going on in the family and just in general. And what that really means is that I grew up feeling that had this core feeling of feeling wrong. It also meant that it fueled my perfectionism because, if I thought if I could tick all of the right boxes, it would mean that people would love me. And ultimately, what it really means is that what I'm trying to recover from in my life, what I call the scapegoat plan, is to get over the self-hatred that fueled me for so much of my life. And in the last couple of years, I've really only come to know the true extent of. I was 15 years sober last week from drink and drugs, and that means that 15 and a half years ago I had a rather large incident with a bunch of cocaine, a whole bunch of alcohol, and my face hit the bottom of a swimming pool rather fast. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I realized that was fueled by self-hatred. I had this desire to die because there was this voice in my head that wasn't mine, that was so self-punishing that at the time all I could do was to get rid of that voice temporarily with drink and drugs. And that meant that I spent that night in hospital. And it's interesting because I took on the idea that being sick meant that I would be loved, that I would get attention and care. For me, the scapegoat role, that also, it was certain victim role as well, because if I was willing to be sick, then and subjugated, dominated, and this is my recovery from it. It's coming into my own empowerment and embodying me as a healthy person. But if I was willing to be sick, then I was given attention, and I was also given money. The more I used drugs in my addiction, the more money I got. So, which is a funny thing, but I've spoken to a lot of people who are like that, or was similar to that. Maybe it wasn't drugs for them, but all of this is basically trying to rewrite a message that is the default setting in my head that I learned early on, which said that I'm not enough, that I'll never be enough, I should be ashamed of myself, and that I'm going to go to hell. Now, I speak to a lot of you guys who are scapegoats, and for me that's a beautiful thing. My natural state is not to want to talk about this stuff, and actually today I've chosen to record audio instead of recording a video. I was sick at Christmas, and the Christmas just gone, and obviously, having said everything I have about being sick and taking on the victim role, I had emergency surgery on Christmas. Actually, it wasn't Christmas Day. I was in A&E on Christmas Day, and then a general anesthetic the next day. And it's so interesting because also one of the things I'm striving for in my life is to try to find balance. And my head was telling me, and I couldn't walk very far at all for several days, and then I was still limited for a couple of weeks, and the reaction in my head was very interesting because I have a lot of friends now who are really good friends. They're willing to support me in whatever I'm doing, and because they know that I'm trying to recover from all of this and addiction and the rest of it, and but the voice in my head is like, don't tell anybody that you have had the operation. Don't ask for support. Don't because that obviously is the counter to wanting to get attention because of being ill, and not wanting help from anybody is just the flip side of the wanting attention from everybody. There's no balance in it. So what I had to understand was that even though it was amazingly uncomfortable, I needed to ask some of my close friends if they could help me, and they did, and I was amazingly grateful for it. And they helped me emotionally, and they helped me physically, and some of them helped me financially, because it's again been a very difficult time, and I have been in what I call a faith space, when you don't know how it's going to work out, but you have faith that looking back and everything will work out. And I can see, and this has been money obviously has been one of the huge things that I've needed to overcome the negative message in my head about money. Haven't really spoken about it on this channel, but it's a huge thing, and I will talk about it in videos. There's a lot of shame about it, and I have. Actually, I'm not going to go into it now. We all carry shame about lots of different things, and lots of us carry lots of shame about lots of things, and I do. It's what I talk about on this channel. It's icky. Someone said that they were watching one of my videos and they commented and they said this it's really cringeworthy stuff, and yes, it's really cringeworthy stuff. This is my shame and fear laid bare, and me trying to process this stuff in order to find the truth of who I truly, really am underneath all of that conditioning and imprinting that I received as a kid. We're all the same in that respect. The fact that I was bringing up someone's own cringeworthy stuff is, I don't know, it shows that what I'm processing obviously touched them as well, and they didn't enjoy that. And it's like, okay, well, that makes two of us. This stuff is uncomfortable to speak about, and the reason I speak about it is because it's the easiest way I have found in being anti-suicidal. So my natural default setting with this hardcore voice in my head is to head towards a life of self-destruction, self-hatred, and self-sabotage. The way that I have found is that by expressing this stuff, I can set myself free, and there's still so much of it. The scapegoat carries the baggage of whoever it is, most often the family, and if you're in that role, the likelihood is you don't realize how much baggage you're actually carrying, because you naturally, the voice in your head and the messages and so many of those messages that were given to you as a kid, you believe are you. I know that I believe that so many of those are me, and yet when I examine them, I realize that that's not actually what I believe. And I have to keep examining them and remembering that that is not my message. It's not an easy path. And the scapegoat analogy is amazing, because actually when you see those the mountain goats that climb the highest passes on the smallest possible road, that's what it feels like sometimes. The fear that comes up, the shame, the anger, the guilt, the sadness, all of that stuff, that really low, heavy vibration stuff can cloud our everyday. But on the flip side of that, there is this beautiful connection between those of us who understand the heavy emotions that have come with this role that we didn't choose, but that we can choose to walk away from. Many of us have gone no contact with our families and found that easier, less emotionally painful. And I never thought that would be me, but that is me. This stuff, when I talk to you, when you leave comments, I am always so grateful for your comments. One of the most beautiful things I have found, because this is so many of us feel alone out there, as if we are in the wilderness, left by the tribe, the family, to die. Then when I speak to you, I wake up every morning and someone has commented on one of my videos, and I'm always so grateful for it, because my default setting has always been to feel alone in the world and small in the world, and yet I wake up every morning and one of you guys has left a comment, and if you're a scapegoat, if you're a black sheep, if you're an empath, if you have those heavy emotions and you have been bullied, subjugated, and treated by others in a way that they're basically taking your energy away from you in order to be able to have that energy themselves. So you're a battery. You are a power supply to them. Here's the thing. When you realize that you are the power, work through the shadow, those things that happened to us early on, those experiences and those things that affect us in everyday life now, the things that cause us to react. Bring those into your awareness. Carl Jung called this the shadow. And that's the things that we can't see that still affect us from our past. I have found that when I bring these into my awareness, it's painful, because awareness of that uncomfortable stuff is painful, but I can overcome my painful life situations because I find the truth. Basically, pain is working through those beliefs which I have that aren't mine and drive my self-sabotage. If I can work through them, I can find truth in my life. There's far less emotional pain. I have far less emotional pain today. I have far less people in my life, far fewer people in my life that wish me ill in every way. And I have so many beautiful people in my life that wish to support me. They have a beautiful energy. They're the energy I wish to embody in the world, and the energy which I wish to surround myself with in others is strong, supportive energy, which is nurturing at the same time. That balance of masculine and feminine, the strength and the care and compassion and the nurture, that for me, if I can nurture myself, look after myself, self-care, do the same for other people, then I think we can make a really huge change in the world just in our everyday actions by showing that I care about myself, and that then carries through into how I interact with other people, showing complete strangers that I care about them, not because I need them to know that, just because I love people. I love helping others find empowerment, and that's why I appreciate the comments in the videos so much, because I know that it's you guys. Someone said it. They said you have. I had said, what is it? Why do you watch my videos? It's and they said, because you have what I want, and that blows me away, because I don't see myself properly. I see myself through broken eyes. When I hang out with you guys, I see myself in a different way, and I realize that, if I am broken, then I'm broken in all the places that need to be fixed. I'm broken in all the right places. That's amazing, because if I can admit that, if I can do the emotional work, if I can hang out with you guys, and then we find joy, passion, all the rest of the stuff, happiness, purpose, and fun. Now that is the kind of world I want to live in. That's my life is becoming that gradually, one day at a time. Ooh. And okay, I have a overcoming fear meditation. It's in the link below if you want to see it. And it's working. You know, that's the beautiful thing for me that I can see, even in these 2.5 years I've been making videos. We're almost up to 3 years. And I look back, I feel different. And it's weird to see myself on camera, especially. I know I'm not on camera right now. I'm finding my way. You guys are telling me you're finding your way, and I love it. I'm so grateful to you. And I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to say I love you guys. I thank you for the support that you give, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Lots of love.